What's up, y'all? Another legendary conversation at ACAB with my partner, Mysonne. And today, we got another special guest. We going national, y'all. We got New York's only, Bronx finest, rapper slash activist on the front line for us and the people. We appreciate you. We got Mysonne in the building.
How you doing, King? Appreciate you.
Yes, man.
I can't complain, man.
It's good. It's good. It's good. Our first time having an artist from outside the city. So grateful you came to check us out at ACAB right here in West Philadelphia.
Before we start, I want to ask you, what's your thoughts on ACAB being here, like the art pieces and everything?
I mean, I love the art, man. I love the energy, the whole, the ambiance of the store is dope, man. It's the Afrocentric feel, you just feel love. We in the city of brotherly love. When you walk in here and you see these Afrocentric pieces, and being a historian, somebody who studies Africa, and just finished leaving Africa, it's a dope feel.
Just love Africa?
Yeah.
This first time over there?
Yep.
Tell me how it was when you touched that soil.
What country?
I was in Kenya, in Ghana, Egypt.
One of my favorite countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in
So those when you touch that soil, you know that you're home. It's just an energy. It's just a feeling that you know that you feel connected to that soil.
Okay. So Bronx, that's where it started in the Bronx.
I mean, that's where I started at. That's where hip hop started at. So.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. And Mysonne, that's the artist name.
That's my real name. My mother named me.
Oh,
My mom's
stage name.
There ain't no stage name.
Oh wow, what does that mean?
It's a acronym. So each letter stands for something different. Master, youth, the sun, the one, newness. I forgot what the last letter is. I don't usually say it a lot, but my father used to break it down to me when I was young. So I think he just wanted to say my son.
Right.
Then he put a little twist on it, but so it makes sense to him.
So I know you're from Bronx and everything. That's where you're from. I know the crack was real big in the Bronx, film academic and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that growing up in that time period?
It was difficult. Both of my parents got addicted to crack in the late 80s. So, being an 80s baby and being a victim of that, watching the whole culture shift, just seeing the whole hood change from just cool people and family members and friends and your friends' mothers and fathers going to work every day to being in the streets and you just looking like zombies it was a crazy feeling. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my friends got engulfed in the streets because they watched their parents get engulfed in the streets. It took them over the edge. There was a level of anger and animosity seeing how the streets involved themselves in their homes, and they just became monsters because of it.
And when did you start rapping?
I started rapping, I want to say in junior high school. I had a couple of friends that was my mentor, R.I.P., my friend June Brown. He was like one of the best rappers I ever heard in my life, and he used to have notebooks full of rhymes. He used to just come to my house and just rhyme to me all day. And I used to be, I was amazed by listening to him rap. So then I used to just go and sneak and just write raps, and I never used to want nobody to hear him. And then one day I let him hear him, and my other friend, God bless it, Virgil, and he was like, yo, you can actually rap.
The Virgil?
No, not that.
Oh!
Not that. It was before that.
Okay.
But, we formed a group called the Bronx Weapons, and we started on our little thing.
Speak about your rap battle with DMX, and also I know you battled Billy the Kid. Speak about that.
So, X is one of my mentors. When I first...
He gives us the story about him too when you done. Say what you want to say and give us a story about X. He got the best stories.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. So X, the whole Rough Rider camp, they used to Like it was like you had to battle to be around. So they would be in Harlem, right in front of the Apollo Theater. If anybody was there in the late '90s, you know that you go to the Apollo Theater, they'd be in front of the Apollo, sitting in their trucks, and just having people battle. You know, so that was like the stage. So when I first got signed,
To who?
I was signed to Def Jam.
Okay.
I was signed to Chris Lighty, R.I.P.
How did that feel like inside?
I mean, it was like a dream come true. You know, originally I was supposed to sign to Entertainment, who was Biggie's label. You know, right after he passed, who was his partner, you know, was supposed to sign me, but it didn't happen like that.
You got a chance to meet him?
No, I never met. I met not while I was rapping.
Right.
I met Big. I went to a concert he did at Howard Homecoming, and then I went to a show that he did in the Palladium
Okay.
with Wu-Tang, which was probably one of the craziest shows I've ever been to. And I met him there with my brother Chi Ali, because Chi was like in the industry there, so Chi had me there, and I met him through him. But when I was actually rapping, I never got that.
Cool. So go back to your story. So Rough Riders, you said the Rough Rider.
So yeah, you used to have to go in front of the Apollo. So, you know, I would go in front of the Apollo and I came out there when I first got into the industry. My man, who was my CEO of my label, who was the person who kind of like found me, my man Tone. He was like, yeah, we're gonna go to, you know, he would bring me to all the spots wherever they was rapping. So I went out there one day and we were just out there and it was, oh, this nigga nice, come to the studio. So then
Who said this?
D from Rough Riders, not DMX,
All right.
but D. So then I went to the studio, and I remember Jay-Z and them was in there.
Fresher.
Everybody was in there, and I just killed somebody's cipher, and they was like, "Oh, this nigga nice." And then I had Battle Shine first. I battled Shine in front of Justin's. That was Diddy's restaurant. It used to be like the main hangout spot in the city. So I had Battle Shine, and from that I got a lot of. That's how I actually got signed. I had like a bidding war after that battle, because pretty much the whole industry was there. So one day, you know, everybody is telling X about me, but we had never met. So there was this tattoo parlor in the Bronx called Two Dragons, and X was out there. Him and Dragon. It was a lot of people, mad people just out there. So I pull up and X is out there killing someone. He's saying some shit that I'm like, this thing is crazy. You know, but I'm like, fuck it. You know, I'm young, I'm hungry, I want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? He already heard about me. So I started rapping, and then before I knew it, it just was me and X rapping. Everybody else got out like, nah, this is different. These niggas is, you know, this is a different level of rap. So we rapped for about a good hour, you know, and all I know is at the end of the day, at the end of the night after we finished, X took me on tour with him. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, he started mentoring me, schooled me to a lot of different shit, you know, and we got music together. He was like one of my closest industry, especially in the industry. He was just really one of my closest, you know, comrades. Story I had, we went to Vegas. He flew me to Vegas for a show he was doing to record the song we was doing. And as soon as I get there, he pulls up in these fucking four-wheelers, and it's two of them. He got two twin girls. So somebody else was driving one. I don't know. We drive to the hotel. We get to the hotel. We in the studio. We listen to beats. We get to the hotel, and as soon as we get to the hotel, he just smoking weed. He's rolling in weed. I don't smoke weed. I don't do none of that shit. So he's just like, you smoke? I'm like, nah. He's like, you gonna smoke today? I'm like, nah. He's like, just sure. Don't worry about it. You can smoke weed. So my man's just looking at me laughing. So he pulls the weed up. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, nah, X, I'm good. Come on, man. Take two. Come on, just two. Real quick. Next thing I know, I done hit the weed 2 times.
Oh man.
We got some Henny. he telling me stories about how he just breaking so much shit down to me about how the music that he put out now, he made in '88, and that he took the same lyrics and he put them to new beats, the same shit that niggas told him wasn't gonna make it. Now it's selling 5 or 6 million. I'm just sitting there like, and he was just breaking so much shit down to me, just telling me his life and explaining to me certain shit. And but I'm getting so high. And I'm like, and I know I look at him, I'm like, yo. I said, this feels good. I said, but I couldn't talk. Like my mouth was just mad slow. And I was like, if I could rap when I was like this, it'd be dope. But I can't talk. I said, I can't even talk.
So why you never smoked before?
I just never, that was just never my, I think because my parents was addicted to drugs, I never wanted to do nothing that had to do with drugs. So that shit just, I watched them, they used to smoke weed first, and the next thing I know, it was coke, and then it was crack. So that shit was like, in my mind, like that's how it goes, the progression. Okay. So I stayed away from it. So anyway, we leave, and we back in them 4-wheelers again. And I just know, we drive somewhere. We drove to the hood. The nigga asked, that's his main thing he want to do. He always want to go to the hood. He like, take me to the hood. He got one bodyguard that acting like, fuck that, I want to go to the hood. Where's the hood in Vegas? So we pull up into some projects. Like 300-400 niggas come outside. He in the middle, he taking out money, giving it to everybody. He telling the security, goes, don't come over here. Like he want to be connected with the people. That's just who he was. Wow. And they all coming, they hugging, they showing him love, and ain't no bullshit. Niggas is showing him, niggas is crying, grown gangsters is crying, talking to him.
What year was this?
This was 99. This is right before I went to prison. And so we driving back, and I just know I'm so high. I'm like, this nigga's the realest. I'm just thinking to myself, he's just the realest. And then shit just started spinning. Everything is spinning. So we park. He like, you all right? I'm like, of course I'm all right, man. But I'm like, why is it 2 of you? He like, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, it's 2 of you, my nigga. I'm laughing at it. He like, and I said, why is the security guard spinning? Like, what is the nigga spinning? I'm like, yo, I'm in tears. Cause in my mind, I really see the nigga spinning. He like, he said, he do a lot of things, Mike, but he don't spin. And I'm like, nah, the nigga's spinning. I said, yo, this nigga's spinning. I got tears in my eyes. He's like, all right, no more weed for you.
The only time you smoke was with DMX.
That's the only time I ever smoked in my life.
That's like that story in Big Pat Jay-Z to in his, you mean, same
never
story.
Smoked again, and then
that's heavy.
I went back to the hotel and threw up. I slept on the toilet bowl, like throwing up. Wow. For like 5, I woke up in the bathroom next to the toilet bowl.
That's a great story.
You mentioned prison. I want to talk about that. Your experience in jail, man. Rikers Island.
Rikers. Well, I mean, Rikers is Rikers, man. I went to prison. I blew trial in '99, right when I had my deal.
Damn.
I blew trial to 7 to 14 sentence for armed robbery. It was tough. I mean, imagine you just get $1 million record deal. I just was on the Violator album. I just was on Mace album. I was on the new Clue album that was coming out. I was supposed to go do the Vibrant thing with Q-Tip the next day before I blew trial. Never made it there. Had a song with Busta that was supposed to drop. All shit, everything was said. I had a whole album that had completed and never got a chance to did it. I did the Rough Rider soundtrack that I never performed. So you sit in a cell with 7 to 14 years, all of this shit, just signed with $1 million deal.
And then I hear you say that it wasn't you got booked for somebody else. Like,
that bitch was some shit that I never.
Oh, I'm about to ask you, did you rob the nigga before the deal or after the deal?
Nah, it was some shit that, it was a situation that I got into an argument with a dude who was a cab driver over some bullshit. And me and him started arguing, and then the other niggas in the hood did some bullshit to him. I wasn't even there. I left, they reacted because of an argument and the disagreement we had. And then I leave, next thing I know, he pulling up on me saying I robbed him. And then from from there, they pinned it. They didn't try. They actually pinned a whole nother robbery on me. Because another cab driver got robbed uptown where I actually lived. So niggas put me in a lineup. He picks me on a lineup. I never even seen the nigga before in my life. So now you got two niggas saying that I robbed them, that none of them I robbed. The first dude tries to drop the charges because he realized he lied on me. But they wouldn't let him. They arrested him because they said he was in contempt of court. Threw him in jail. Now he's scared to even testify. He goes to court trying to plead the fifth. But they say that I'm threatening him. That's why he don't want to. So they use his testimony that he made before trial as evidence. He never even identified me in court. It was like the worst. Anything that could have gone wrong just went wrong. It didn't even make sense.
So tell me the moment when you go from Mysonne the artist to, okay, I'm gonna be Mysonne the activist. Like,
I mean, that was a process, man. Like, I never seen active. I mean, I always had a good heart. You know what I'm saying? I think even when I was young, I was the nigga that protected the kids from the bullies.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? In junior high school, elementary school, I wouldn't let you bully nobody. Like, you're not bullying none of my friends. You know, I wasn't the tough nigga that wanted to prey on the weak. I never preyed on weak. You know what I'm saying? So that was always who I was. So I think it was just a natural evolution. Coming home from prison, actually, you sitting in prison, you doing 7 years. I'm watching all these young kids coming in here with 40 and 50 years, just buying into street shit that never made sense. And then when you start realizing all the shit that they taught us and we gravitated to and we glorified ain't do nothing for us.
So when you came home, because like in Philly, you know, we favor Wallow. So it was like the Wallow thing, like Wallow was with Gilly, he got locked up, major figure, then he got locked up, then came home and it was like he had a plan. Like he came speaking to the streets and we fell in love with him. So when you came home, was your plan to like get back into the artistry, or you was like, no, I'm going to speak? Like I
think it was a transition, right? Because I always wanted to rap. So when I came home, the first thing I was doing was rapping, but the message was different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, nah, I'm not telling niggas to rob and shoot next time. Because I know that shit ain't gonna do nothing but end you dead on jail. So even though the message I had was street based and it was telling the truth, it just wasn't glorifying dumb shit. So it was a transition. And then I think I fully got into activism when Trayvon Martin happened.
Oh yes, that's one, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was the thing that clicked for me. I was actually in Florida and we was filming a TV show that I was doing. It was a web series that we was doing called South Brooklyn. It was like, you know, it was kind of like Power is now, but that shit was like 2007, 2008, and no matter of fact, 2011, I think, my fault. It's like 2011, 2012, and it was right when shit happened with Trayvon, and when Zimmerman was found not guilty, that shit just broke my heart.
Okay.
Because my oldest son was 11 years old at that time, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? So you trying to tell me my son go in the store, and nigga could just kill him and just say, that's it, nothing? So, you know, that shit got me into it. And I wrote this poem called What Do I Say to My Son? And I did a video for it on the internet. And then I met a girl that I work with now named Tamika, who was working with Al Sharpton. And she heard it, and she was working with Trayvon's mother. So she let her hear it, and she loved it. They're like, yo, you should do work in a lot of these detention centers with these kids, because your message can resonate with them. So I started doing that work first. And then when Eric Garner got killed in New York City, that was the first rally that I ever went to. And then after that, it just became some shit that I did.
And you have a couple movements. You have the Until Freedom movement, and you have Until Freedom and
Boycott, Black Murder.
Until Freedom is an organization that we all founded, you know, in 2020. You know, we just wanted to create an organization, a civil rights organization that was more geared toward what the culture is today.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got NAACP and all that. I just feel like those organizations are legacy organizations, and I respect them, but I just didn't feel like they encompass, you know, the youth and the hip hop culture and shit. Like, I didn't feel there was a space for me in most of those movies. I didn't see myself in it.
So what's the difference between Until Freedom and Raising King? What's the difference?
So Until Freedom is an organization that was based off just civil rights. Raising Kings, the organization was that I created to help deal with at-risk youth in the community. So Raising Kings was me dealing with at-risk youth and teaching young boys what manhood is. 'Cause I believe that especially a lot of our young boys in our communities, they've been taught some shit that ain't really what manhood is.
Okay.
You know, they think what you got is manhood, how tough you are, how many bodies you could look. That shit don't make you a man. And you know, a lot of these babies has gravitated to that. So for me, Raising Kings it's a rite of passage. It's teaching you actually what the principles of manhood is. You know, what gangster to me is when you're taking care of your family. Gangster to me is when your community is safe because you're there. You know, gangster to me is when the woman and the kids know they're going to school safe when they see you out in the corner. They ain't ducking and hiding and, you know, none of that shit. So none of that shit that we was taught none of that shit was real.
No, you real. I remember you was arguing either 6ix9ine or Academics. You was like, man, for me it's integrity. You like, for me it's integrity and character. Fuck your money. And I'm like, damn, that's hard. Like he came to Philly by himself. Like, it's like you're really like a last dying breed as far as like alpha male that stands for something. You know what I mean? I think that's why you're legendary now. And kind of the same type of these that come with the flex freestyle to let people know you still got it. And I'm like, how you feel about that freestyle? That one is like,
I mean, it was a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand to grab the youth, you got to speak the language of the culture. So, you know, I sat there and I said, all right, you know, I know what I want to do. I know ultimately my purpose is to make sure I save these babies and shift the culture and watch men grow into men. You know, that's what it is. I think we've moved so far from manhood and, you know, and we've adopted this coward culture. Like, niggas protect and lift up cowards. Like, some of these niggas that niggas is interviewing that they giving platforms to, like, these niggas ain't even men. They don't, like, a nigga like Akademiks is not even a man. Like, it's not, and then it's not even to disrespect you. There's nothing that you've done with your platform or your life that's elevated nothing. You've only led to destruction and degradation of this culture. These babies is dying because you instigating beefs with them. You disrespecting women every time. You've never had a face to face with a man that you even conducted yourself as a man. Men done sat in your face and tell you that they wanted to smack you. And you didn't say nothing, but you get on the internet and you talk crazy to niggas that you know that you're not even built, that you would never talk to like that in their face. So this is what the culture has uplifted. And for me, it's like, I know what that is. You know what I'm saying? So when these babies is watching you and they feel like, well, he winning, he getting millions of dollars, he this and that, so it must be right. Because that's what we do. We gravitate, we follow the trend. If that's what is cool, if it's cool for niggas to glorify rap, it's cool for niggas to glorify niggas that don't got no character, no nothing, just because they on the internet, then you watch these babies gonna follow suit. And they gonna say, well, he got money though, because that's all they gonna say. He got money though, well, this and that. 6ix9ine can sit up there and make every excuse in the world for why he was too weak to deal with the consequences of his own activities. So he wanna see another nigga deal with it, and people say, well, it makes sense to me. And of course it makes sense to you. Of course, everybody wanna go home to their baby, but you didn't think about that shit. You don't think about the babies that you stopping other niggas from going home to, right? You don't give a fuck about that, right? Because you too weak to deal with your own consequences. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we are, and that's the shit that's being pushed in this culture now. And for me, that's what I'm all anti that. So sometimes I'm gonna be alone because niggas don't want to stand on the side of righteousness, especially when it is not glorified and it's not, you know, incentivized. Coward culture is incentivized. They paying niggas to be cowards. They paying niggas to get on the internet and say that the most dumbest shit, the most lamest shit, the shit that they know is gonna lead these kids to the graveyard or to jail. And when you speak out against it, you're a hater.
So how you feel about my bad, Rashawn? How you feel about this then? I don't know if you seen when NBA YoungBoy, he made a post.
I loved it. I posted it on my page. That was some real shit. That's what men do. That's why niggas like, yo, you don't say nothing about these young niggas drill. Cause I was a young nigga that was talking that. I understand that. We gotta evolve. Like, if I don't know better, then I can't give you better.
Everybody might know about NBA YoungBoy.
Yeah, he sat there and explained how, you know, he realized that the lyrics and the message that he had in his music was destroying people's minds and leading them in the wrong direction, and it hurt him. When he thought about that shit, it's like, damn, I done told these people all this bullshit. I done told them to do shit, and when you're a good person, that shit don't sit well on your soul. You know what I'm saying? And it's starting to touch his soul to where now he's been, you know, this peace movement and this anti-violence movement, and that's what we need, man. And niggas need to celebrate shit like that. That's what manhood looks like to me.
I was gonna say, Raising Cane's Foundation, right? You building it up. And say you can get NBA YoungBoy to come talk to.
That's the goal. You know what I'm saying?
What?
That's the goal. Like me, when I started doing Boycott Black Murder, I reach out to Meek all the time. He like, yo, that should be the message. You know what I'm saying? So my goal is, I need like-minded individuals to stand next to me, right? I don't need you to give me no nothing. I just need you to come to these communities, the same communities you from, that you know these young boys is killing each other, and tell them to live. Just tell them to live. Tell them ain't nothing cool about dying. That's all I need you to say. I don't give a fuck what you're doing, your music and all that shit, but in real life, let these babies know that they supposed to be living. That the ultimate goal is to live it. Just like Robert De Niro could play a part in this motherfucking movie. All of the biggest gangsters, they play the biggest gangster movie, but they go back to their community and they put it in their community to make sure that it's living. So that's what I want to see. I want to see all of us. I'm not telling you not to rap drill. You a drill rapper, rap drill. But go back to the community and say, yo, this shit is about money. I'm making some money. This shit is just music. Don't be out here killing each other. You know what I'm saying? Let your actions dictate, for real. I don't give a fuck what you say. Let your actions, let these kids see your actions is about life. Because right now, it ain't a lifestyle these kids is living. It's a death style.
You know what he said? It's not a lifestyle, it's a death style. That's true. That's true. And so tell us about Tamika Riley and why she's important.
Tamika Mallory.
Mallory.
Yes.
Apologize for it.
Oh, you mentioned having talking about it.
Yeah, I met Tamika in 2012, man. We did an event together for Christmas that my homegirl Mita and her had collaborated on in Harlem, and we was giving out toys, and we just clicked. You know, that's when she found out the work I was doing, and she was the first person that actually got me into the movement. She was like, yo, your message is strong. You know, when she heard the Trayvon Martin piece, she introduced me to Trayvon's mother.
Oh, wow.
Then she introduced me to my sister Carmen Perez, who ran Harry Belafonte's organization called the Gathering for Justice. And I started working with them and doing work with them. And, you know, and then that's how we worked with the Gathering for Justice. And then she did the Women's March, which was pretty much the biggest single-day protest in the history of America. And I worked with them there. And then that's when we decided, like, you know, we've worked with different organizations, but we want to create our own organization that we feel like represents what it is that we want. We got different ideologies, and we don't want to. We respect everybody else's ideologies, but I just think that our organization, and the way that we move, should just be different. It should encompass hip hop. It should encompass the streets. It should be people that don't look conventional. It's not just about Ivy League and, you know, the preachers and all that, and I don't have nothing against them, but it was a lot of people who didn't see themselves in the movement. They didn't feel like, because I didn't. I was like, yo, I don't say the shit the way they say. I don't move the way. I'm not a person that go to church. I remember when I first started doing the movement, my man DJ Self.
DJ Self, shout out to DJ Self.
You know, I'm in a strip club, and he's like, yo, what you doing here? I'm like, the same thing you doing here. I'm having a good time. Oh, but you're sick. I'm like, just because I don't want to see my people die don't mean that I'm not of the culture. I don't want to come out and have some drinks and enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the stigma that was put on the movement, that you had to be, you know, a church person and you had to be a straight line individual. So a lot of street people and individuals who come from our community felt like there was no place for them. And I wanted them to know, like, nah, you can live here every everyday life, you can be of this culture. All you got to do is want to see the right thing happen. All you want to do is make sure that our people ain't dying, that we get, the justice and the equity and equality that we deserve.
Really?
And I'm saying, I see he was in Memphis and everything. I told you he was in Memphis. I talk about the police coming out there that just transpired.
Yeah, man. It's really sad when you got people that look like you in positions of power that that abuse that power, that utilize their platforms to uphold white supremacy. And that's what it is. And I tell people all the time, it's not black and white when it comes to police. It's the blue. It's a blue wall. You know what I'm saying? And because inside the police stations and academies around this world, they've been taught that black lives don't really have value. They've been taught that we dangerous, and there's trigger words. They felt threatened. They felt like their life is in danger. Anytime you utilize that language when you encounter a black man as a police officer, they feel like you're right. Unless we got it on camera. If we don't have it on camera to where they can literally see what happened, they're going to believe 9 out of 10 times or 10 out of 10 times that whatever you did caused your own death. And they're not going to believe that you was just, if we would have never seen Tyre Nichols and they would have showed that tape, because if you listen to the body cam, they're like, put your hands behind your back, stop resisting, why are you going for my weapon? They making up shit that's not happening.
Oh.
But if we didn't see that camera, right, if we didn't see that, then we wouldn't never know that was happening. And they would have went back and said, yo, he tried to do this, so we had to fight. This is what happened. And they would have got off. Because that's what usually happens, because the white supremacy within the police system teaches you do not have to value black life. Anytime that you encounter a black person, that person is dangerous. And if you have to kill him, you can kill him. And they have pretty much a license to kill black people, and that's what we've been dealing with. And the only time you ever see justice is when we actually see it on camera. Just imagine how many niggas you don't see on camera that they done did the same shit to.
Yeah, I ain't never thought about that. You they saying cold words.
Yeah, they saying shit. All you see is the body moving around, and the body shit is happening. Like, yo, don't grab my weapon. Yo, this and that. And he's saying shit that's not even happening. And that's all they get. They don't see what's going on. They just see the flurry. They see the body moving around, and they say they put that shit into evidence, and they say, it's justified. And that's the shit that we deal with every day. So it's unfortunate, man. I was out there, and his family, they really look strong. It had a lot of support. I hate that. I've been at George Floyd's funeral. I've been at Breonna Taylor's funeral. Like, I've been at so many different funerals, national deaths, and not even just national deaths. Just people that most people don't even know about. Shaquella Robertson, the girl who got killed in Mexico by her friends and nobody even knows about. And that still hasn't been charged. So I've witnessed so much death in the last few years that, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that our people are dying, and that's why I created Boycott Black Murder, because it's us saying that it's not okay for nobody to just kill us. Not us, not the police, not nobody. And when we start identifying each other as brothers and sisters, and we start loving each other, and we don't see each other as ops, and we put the neighbor back in neighborhood, because now we just from
back in neighborhood.
You know what I'm saying? When we start seeing that, and we start seeing connections, and we start unifying, then we start reacting different, and we start acting different towards each other.
When the music is strong, the movement is strong.
That's like Fonte's 8 major words. When music is strong, the music is strong.
Okay. We're on 52nd Street right now, West Philly. There was a shooting that took place on 60th Street. The cop got shot not too long ago. What is your take on that? Because you should talk about blue people shooting black people. What about?
It's unfortunate, right? But I say this all the time. If the system, who was it that I heard say this? Jesse Williams. He was on awards a couple of years ago, and he said, we see that the police know how to disarm and de-escalate, and when they interact with people of different colors, we see it all the time. The white person can be outraged, they can have weapons, they can do all type of shit, and you find a way to de-escalate, and they go home and they live, and if y'all don't start doing that in our communities. You know what I'm saying? If you don't change the way that you deal with our communities, then eventually the community is gonna change the way that they deal with you. You know, and it's not to say that that's what we're calling for, but the natural reaction, human nature, is self-preservation, right? And it's to protect yourself. And so, if the police and the system of policing does not change the way it deals with black people, right? Then you can't expect any other result.
Okay.
You know, I RIP to the officer who lost his life, because I don't never want to hear nobody lose their life. But you have to ask yourself, how long do you think it's going to take before you just keep killing people and then people react and respond in this manner? You know what I'm saying? So we if America wants, we have to change the way that they dealing with us. They have to, because I know that there's people watching the TV like, yo, they just killed another. Fuck that. Everybody doesn't have, you know, the discernment and the level of, you know, calmness and understanding to where they like, you know what, I'm not going to fight fire with fire. There's so many people that be on my page talking about, fuck that, we got to do this and that. And that becomes a mind state. So we got to deal with common sense, man. You know, the system the structure in the system and the powers that be have to protect us, protect the police, to protect everybody. We just got to change the way that we're dealing with the society.
So I see like you have a lot of influence. Like I was on your gram, like a lot of celebrities follow you. You have a lot of respect in the industry and also in the streets. You have a good balance. So I want to, and I like how you hold artists accountable. Like it's like you're an artist, you have a platform, do something positive with it. So I want you to tell the people like the difference or the similarities of rocking a mic on the stage versus holding the mic, leading a march or giving a speech on some activism tip. Because
I think it's up to you. You know, I think it's what do you think is the difference? For me, you know, at this point, music is a passion, and activism and fighting for the rights and equality of my people is my purpose. So what I do is I try to combine both.
okay,
You know, I understand that hip hop is the language of our youth. You know, so that's the communication. So if I'm trying to communicate, these are the people I'm trying to save. So if I'm trying to save them, then my messaging has to be in the language that they listen to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very intentional about every time that I rap about something, that is a message in it. Even if it's just a dope rap, it has to be message. I don't want to waste my bars no more. I'm not just saying shit just to say it. It got to be something that you get from it. So every time that I use a mic in the street and I'm talking at a rally, it's the same way when I use a mic and I'm rapping. You know? It's always to get a message across. It's always to invoke some level of responsibility, or for you to enact it, for you to call on yourself or call yourself to your higher self.
call yourself to your higher self. I'm ready for that sign. That's great science right there.
I watched your grandma. I see that you real fit. You do a lot of training, working out. You know what I'm saying? So talk to the people about the points of working out.
I mean,
Why you should train.
health is wealth, man. I don't care what you got. If you're not healthy, you could be rich. If you ain't healthy, you ain't gonna live to spend it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I started working out when I was in prison. It was when I really got focused on it, but I understood, you know, that it creates so many different things. It plays on your mind. When your body is healthy, then your mind is strong. Your mind is strong. You're able to see things. You know, one of my mentor, who's been working out he's 61 years old, and nigga look like he's 25.
I seen posts in the ground.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he said he trains his body, his mind, not his body. You know what I'm saying? When he's exercising, he's training his mind, because once he convinces his mind, his body's gonna follow everything. So that's what it is. It's like when you get into a regimen and you strong in it and you consistent, then it plays into every aspect of your life. Everything that you do becomes like that. You dedicate it to it. And that's how I live my life. When I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what nobody says. You're not stopping me from achieving my goal.
You're a very strong-minded guy. So speaking of strong-minded, can you give us 2 books as far as either must read or your favorites, either one? You know what I mean? Be like
2 books that The Finding of the Third Eye.
Finding of the Third Eye
by Vera Staley and
write that down myself.
what is another book that one of my favorite books. Damn.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah,
and give us 1 or 2 of some activists, past or alive, that you look up to. Probably past, like he's great.
Huey P was one of my favorite. You know, Huey P. Newton. I liked Malcolm X pretty much.
Yeah, Malcolm.
The epitome of what it is for me, because he was street. And then it was you seen the evolution.
He changed his life for him.
You know what I'm saying? So you went from Red to Malcolm. So he's pretty much one of the activists that I pretty much idolize, and I model what it is that I want to be. You know, how I want to be perceived.
Did you go to the Millionaire March? You been from New York?
The first, I wasn't at the first Million Man March. I wasn't even conscious. I didn't even understand what was going on.
Still in the streets.
You know what I'm saying? I was just, my father passed away, so I didn't have like strong male role models that was involved that deep into what's going on. But I was the 20th anniversary of the march.
In DC, I was there.
I spoke at that march.
You spoke at that?
Yeah.
Farrakhan?
Yeah.
You ever met Farrakhan?
Yes, that's one. Farrakhan's also one of my mentors.
How was that?
Farrakhan is the most humblest, most intelligent. You just know that he's ordained by God. Like when you in his presence, you know that God sent this man. It's just something that you know.
Are you part of an NOI movement?
I'm not.
5%?
I'm not 5%. I love the principles of Islam, but I just don't adhere to religion at all. I believe that because religion itself for me, it's so many different religions.
Right.
And I don't want to choose a religion over the best. I have friends that I love who are some of the most beautiful people that are Christians. Some of my friends are Muslims, some 5%ers. I have Buddhist friends. I have so many different people who sect as a religion. I'm more spiritual.
Okay.
So I definitely adhere more to the principles of Islam.
I never heard you talk about religion. Like speak on it. So I did want to ask you about some of your controversies and things like that. I know like Hassan Campbell, was like a boxing match. Would you ever do that? Would you take one out situation?
I mean, I think at this point, it is, for me, it's like, I don't even know where there was an issue with the man. I met a man one time, and he had an issue with African bambaataa and whatever happened to him with that. And from there, we had a conversation.
Yeah, issue African bambaataa.
You got to look into it. I don't really like to even, because to me, he's so irrelevant to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's not even somebody that matters to me.
Right.
So I don't entertain him at all. So, my friend, the boxer, what's his name again? Heavyweight boxer. Damn. Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs reached out to me and said, yo, do you know this boxing match I could set up for y'all? People want to see y'all. Got this amount of money. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. And then for whatever reason, it didn't happen. That was like last year, 2 years ago. So that was that, And at this point, the internet trolling shit is just so out of hand that niggas will say and do anything just to get attention.
Okay.
I don't live my life like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna disrespect you or just say shit just so you can respond to me. And that's what these niggas do on the internet. They say the worst shit about you just to get any level of response from you. So he built his whole career off just saying the worst shit he could say to try to get response from people. I don't, that ain't something for me. You know what I'm saying? The way you talk about me, you just need to see me outside. You know what I'm saying? As a man, that's simple. The rest of that shit ain't about, I'm not feeding back. You never gonna get no response from me. I'm not answering on you. I'm not doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? So he's saying shit like this so people can go and say, oh, my son, why don't you do this? So you can respond. So you ever see a nigga that just wants your attention so bad? That's what the internet created that. Right? If you could be a nobody nigga and talk about somebody, and you could call them all type of names, and they be like, yo, son saying shit about you, what you gonna do?
Right.
Nothing. Well, I mean, who is that? He don't, there's nothing about him that adds or takes anything away from my life. Why do I gotta entertain you? And the internet makes these people feel like they important enough for you to respond to.
I was gonna say, the people that be kind of going at it with you, they don't be like...
They not nobody.
Yeah,
it's like, why am I'm not going at it with you, niggas. Like, for what? I'm gonna have a conversation with Akademiks because I know 5 million people that he's influencing that I'm trying to save. So me and him going back, it makes sense. But you a nigga that nobody knows. The reason why niggas know you is because you talk about me every day for 5 years straight. You go on the nigga internet, you could pull up over 100 times, 100 videos that's about my son. That's what you did. That's your claim to fame, is that you talked about me. And I don't care nothing about you. And it bothers you that you'll never get a response. This is the most response that he's ever had. He gonna play this shit on his page. He gonna take this, he gonna put it up there, shall we begin, and all that dumb shit he do.
Shall we begin?
And just keep talking about, and this is, you know what I'm saying? So, but hey.
Now they keep talking about controversy, but these Academics, do you see yourself going on the same platform you are?
I don't.
Everybody know y'all 2 big voices and everything, see y'all come together. Would y'all do that?
I don't know. You know, when Gilly and Wallow
tried to have a conversation first.
Yeah, he got, we gotta see each other face to face. Because I just gotta know you who you say you are, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't just, because I've come from a place,
I couldn't see
you can't talk to a man a certain way that you're not even with, because I don't want to shoot you or stab you, but you say you can fight. Let's scrap it up with something. But I know you're not who you say you are. And you sat on Gilly on that platform and try to play me. When they put us on the phone to have a conversation, and you try to act like, so it's like at this point, you know what I'm saying? It's like there has to be a face-to-face conversation before there can be any other conversation.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing we gonna see each other face-to-face. Either you gonna deal with what you said, and you gonna apologize as a man face-to-face, or you gonna have to deal with the consequences that come with it. That's what men do. You know what I'm saying?
That's a quote. You said that. I read an article. You said that.
That's big good for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Y'all 2 together.
But I just think, because my thing is, I don't see no retribution. I don't see nothing positive that he does. It's still nothing positive. Niggas done called you out and say, yo, you doing it, and you still just promoting nothing but controversy. You still on there talking about who going to jail. This nigga had Little Baby going to jail, an indictment that never happened. He's like, Little Baby's the next one that's gonna get it. Why would you be up there saying that about that man? That man got nothing to do with nothing. Man. You like the Fed, they coming to get him next. What the fuck is you talking about, bro? How do you put that man in
starting fires?
Like, what is wrong with you? This is where we live at. This is the world, and niggas like, oh, he's a blogger. Nah, my nigga, that shit is more than blogger, because you have the power to incite, to create shit. Like, the feds is on the internet now. Right? So when you bringing up niggas' names saying that they gonna get indicted next that nobody know about, the feds like, well, let's look at a Little Baby. What Little Baby doing that we missing? Because Akademiks talking about it, I'm saying, this is what niggas don't understand how serious this shit is. This is the world we live in now. So, it ain't just you an internet nigga no more. Nah, this shit different.
Listen, he's Mysonne, but he's Mysonne the general. Yeah. This is the general part, the leader, the voice, and you're a general. Like I feel like you're necessary for the culture, because There's too many people rapping that, too many beats. We need somebody. We need to get back to rhetoric. I feel like this real quick. Like before, it was hip hop. It was X, MLK. You know what I mean? Who you knew it was people were speaking. Fred Hampton. People were talking and giving power through speech, and that created movements. Then it became hip hop. Hip hop would be messages as well. And then it turned into what it turns to now. But you bringing it back. Everything under the sun. Everything full circle.
My thing is, we just got to keep it balanced. It got to be a balance. In hip hop was a balance. We had EPMD, we had Public Enemy, we had KRS-One, then we had Rakim. You know what I'm saying? And then they had Cool G Rap. So it was a balance. It was positive and it was negative. Now it's just all the way negative. It gotta be some balance. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give a nigga, because if you overdose, if you give too much anything is no good. Even too much positive is no good. But it gotta be balanced. That's the balance of the world, negative and positive. So I'm not mad that the negative exists, because I like ratchet rap. I like drill music. I like all of that shit. It's just too much of it. Ain't nothing else. There's no balance. So we gotta create the balance, man.
I know y'all was in New York. You know what I mean? We want to know like what you want, anything you want to know about you, anything you got coming up, anything you mention with these to people.
I seen Remy Ma.
Yeah, I got a new podcast that I'm about to start called Sit Downs with the Stand-Ups. So it's sit down conversations with stand-up individuals, and it's pretty much based off that people that I respect. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe everybody deserves a platform. A lot of these people they interview, they ain't talking about nothing. The only thing they got is controversy and who they had beef with. Like, I don't want to do that. You know, so what I want to do, being formerly incarcerated, I know it's a lot of people who've been formerly incarcerated who've come home and done major shit that nobody talks about. You know, and then there's this false narrative that everybody who went to jail is just a criminal, and they no good. So I want to highlight those individuals. So Remy was one of the people I interviewed. You know, it's going to be a lot of different interviews. My man from Harlem, who used to be a drug kingpin, and now he's in fashion. A lot of other individuals that I know worldwide that have taken, you know, did their time, understood, you know, the mistakes they made, and came home and said, I'm not indulging in that shit no more. I'm going to take it to the next level. So that's what my podcast is going to pretty much
I'm going to tap into that.
You know, be faces. A lot of people that you wouldn't even know, a lot of people that have been incarcerated, that they don't talk about that, but you just know that they, you know, at the top of the game. So I want to talk about that transition. I want people to see that it's possible for you to transition. It's possible for you to come home and do positive shit and be really successful.
My last question for you, then let you get out of here. What does my brain live to legendary? Tell me what that mean to you.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. You know, and the first thing you got to do is live. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing you got to do. You know, and I think that's what we gotta start teaching these babies, that it's okay to live. Like everybody talking about they ready to die, fuck that I could die, I'm killed. Like, let's start talking life. You know what I'm saying? That's a very thing. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about living. I'm trying to live till I'm 100. Fuck that nigga, but I don't give a fuck if I gotta die. Nah, let's talk about I'm gonna live till I'm 200 years old. I'm be the first nigga to live to be 200. I'm gonna have kids. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear shit like that, because that's not what's celebrated no more. To be gangster, you gotta be deaf. If you ain't talking about death, it ain't no. You ain't a real nigga. I don't want to talk about living. You know what I'm saying? I want to do the shit that's gonna make sure I'm living. I want to do exercise. I want to elevate. I want to build. I want to eat right. You know what I'm saying? I want to unify. I don't want no ops. Because if you got an op, there's a possibility that one of y'all I don't got no ops. I don't got no ops. Fuck an op. I want to just live. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. So that's what, you know, living to be legendary, man. First you got to live. And if you live your life properly in a manner that's conducive to what, you know, what living is, you know, is about evolving, then ultimately I don't give a fuck on what level, you legendary to somebody.
So when you hear Last of a Dying Breed, think of this man right here. Because of him, hopefully the breed don't die and we can keep evolving and become a new breed of people. So I want to thank you, Mysonne, for coming out, building with us.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, Rashawn.
Appreciate it coming out. Before you slide, I want to see you got some bars for us. I seen the photo.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, a quick little, you know what I'm saying? The blessings real quick. Before you leave.
This is for the haters, the suckers. Matter of fact, they don't really hate us, they love us. They just mad that they ain't us. They just hate that I'm famous. They just mad that I'm fucking the greatest. They just hate that I came up. Nope. And I ain't have to dick ride. 10 toes down and I ain't never switch sides. I ain't never do no snake shit or have to backbite. I ain't never have to pay a chick for her to act right. Hey, 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 hey.
Oh, all right.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
Oh, all right. What's up, Luke? Give us something, man. You gotta go home fire. It's New York. It's the Bronx. We need original bars. OG bars. 30 and over club. They go to bars. They got bars down 30 and over and 420 and over. That's like no shit, bro.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Nigga said fuck that.
Yeah.
These niggas. Anybody under 30 out here crazy.
Yeah, they got 30 and over Joes out here. You got something for us, Luke?
10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds. All right. All right. Shout out, man, Malik, man, the building, man, Southwest Finest, Queen Safari. Yes. Dope Child Worldwide, Ryan Green, the God. We here, man. Love my life. Got my sign in the gym room. Fresh to legend. The show has his own workout bar.
They got a push-up bar, yeah. There's RGB colors and all that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Sure.
hear about that.
I want to ask you too about your diet.
To paraphrase it best is I'm like Sunday and Saturday with breath. I just went left and lost like 100 of y'all. In the same breath I picked up 200 or more. I was the black boy lost in front of the store, fully prepared to bang my gun in the war. I was the kid cop and his tongue numb from the raw. Motherfucker, I was the son of the whores, the lung of the poor, the voice of the young that they want to ignore. It's too late, then I done come in the door. Now it's a problem.
It's over, man. Back in NY, we might go with him. You know what I mean? We might go with him.
Hey.